The Kamaz truck was slowly climbing the mountain pass. Anton Fedotov cursed under his breath. The schedule, instead of 20 tons, they'd loaded 25 tons of crushed stone, and the poor engine strained, as if saying, "I'm sorry, boss, I can't go any faster." It was his second trip over this mountain pass, and both times with an overloaded truck. Thankfully, there weren't any traffic cops for miles. Outside the window was pitch-black darkness. It was 1 in the morning. He'd been delayed at the quarry, changing a blown-out tire, and it had to be the inner one. Took forever to fix. Anton smoked one cigarette after another to stay awake. On these serpentine roads, you had to keep your eyes wide open. A moment's distraction could send you off the edge, and who knows when help might arrive. The road was flanked by an endless expanse of autumn forest, cold, silent, and eerie. Good thing I installed a second heater, Anton muttered to himself with some relief. Suddenly something struck the side of the truck. Anton flinched. He glanced to his right, and his blood ran cold. Pressed against the window was the face of an old woman, wrinkled, with large dark eyes and a twisted toothless mouth, muttering something he couldn't make out. Her long, unnaturally thin fingers stuck to the glass like suction cups, and her wild grey hair stood out in all directions, making her face even more grotesque and terrifying. "Take me to find my cow!" a gurgling, otherworldly voice demanded. The fear was so overwhelming that Anton's hands went numb and his voice failed him. He stared into those dark, haunting eyes, frozen in place. "What cow?" he finally blurted out. Almost on autopilot, his hand reached for the door handle. He swung the door open, and the old woman was flung into the ditch. Sleep vanished in an instant. His teeth chattered so violently that the sound echoed through the cab. "Dear God, help me!" Anton repeated in terror. "Help me!" At the truck depot, Anton kept this encounter to himself for a whole week. He didn't share it with anyone until he was assigned the same route again. The seasoned drivers listened intently as he told his story, nodding silently as they puffed on their cigarettes. "So, you've met her too?" grunted Stepanovich, breaking the silence. He shook his head as if to dispel a bad memory. "You've seen her, Stepanovich?" Anton asked. "She's been wandering that pass for as long as anyone can remember," the older driver said. "Sometimes she'll grab onto the step, other times she'll jump onto the hood. Scares the living daylights out of drivers." "Yeah, I've seen her too. I thought I might have killed her at first," Anton confessed, his voice trembling. "I mean, she's an old woman." "Old woman?" Stepanovich snorted. "That's no old woman. That's a witch. How could you kill her?" The conversation dragged on in the smoky break room, but Anton didn't stay to hear the rest. He went back to his truck, sat in the cab, and buried his head in his hands. Tomorrow he'd have to face that cursed mountain pass again, and he dreaded every second of it.